Nerds Talking, the podcast.
Yo, we talk about lightsabers, stunning your TV screens, what you want to stream, everything beyond your dreams. Want to talk about movies, sports, or even politics? Go ahead and tune into us, we'll give you all of it. Whatever you're debating, Xbox or PlayStation, Marvel or DC, Mac or PC. Teraflops when the movie drops, gigabytes, chips, RAM, no matter what it is, we got all of it. Welcome to the show.
Nerds Talking, the podcast.
Welcome to Nerds Talking, the podcast. I'm here with Carlos, Johnny. I'm Lafayette, and another great episode of Nerds Talking. Remember to download, rate, subscribe, review, turn on notifications, tell your friends. We're on every digital outlet, and we are getting a website together so you guys can enjoy the fruits of our labor, which Carlos is doing all the work, so Johnny and I will do nothing. We're hands off. But the fruits of our labor. Hey, real quick, we're gonna start off with some good old Hollywood action here. There's a movie that we all saw recently, and for some reason I'm forgetting it because I'm a dumbass. God damn it, what was it we all saw? Come on, people, throw some movies at me that you've seen recently.
Sweet Girl.
Sweet Girl on Netflix. You saw that one, so did I. Johnny, did you see Sweet Girl? It's starring Jason Momoa.
I did not.
You did not see Sweet Girl, so you suck at this game. Wow. But there was something else.
Suicide Squad.
God, Suicide Squad. We've all seen Suicide Squad. Yes, we're gonna touch on Suicide Squad. Before we start, the reminiscence on HBO Max, just real quick. Never watched that movie. It's a fucking horrible movie. Remember how last week we told you Snake Eyes was a shit show? So was Reminiscence. Now, Reminiscence a little more entertaining, but goddamn it!
But it's a drag fest. Oh my god,
super drag,
so slow and boring.
Oh my god,
and the obsession that he has with this woman, Jesus Christ, man.
It's ridiculous. It's like, but Suicide Squad on HBO Max. Suicide Squad is a fantastic movie. This is how Berman would say it. But no, Suicide Squad HBO Max is a movie by James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy for Marvel, and it is on HBO Max. I already told you that's fantastic. It's fun, it's violent, it's gory, it's funny. Johnny, did you like it?
I did. I liked it a lot better than the first movie, and it had everything. And I feel like John Cena shines at those comedic roles, like when he's trying to be serious and a serious action star, he kind of sucks. But him in this movie, he was great.
That's your takeaway from watching the movie?
Yeah.
John Cena was great.
Yeah.
And he's a 15-time champion. So
you can't see me.
It's not the best 15-time scripted champion. No, it was great, man. The movie was phenomenal. Like you said, man, John Cena and Idris Elba, man, they stole the show.
Yeah,
they really did. They stole. Remember when they're going through that the town of the
trying to do each other's kill? That's funny.
Yeah, but the people are actually they're the good guys. They're the good guys. They kill them all. But my favorite part was the bag of dicks. That was funny.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Or if the beach was covered in dicks, he'd eat every dick
for justice.
Yes.
That's no, it's such a fun movie. Like Johnny said, it's better than the first one. It was very original. The fact that there was actually maybe 15 members of the Suicide Squad in the first 10 minutes. That's about as far as that went. But yeah, man, it was blast. Carlos, give me your take on Suicide Squad. Don't tell me John Cena.
I thought he and Idris Elba did well, but King Shark stole the show for me, man. King Shark was funny. Like when the CGI for King Shark and the CGI for Starro, it was tremendous, man. That's some good stuff. And I liked how I think King Shark was just funny. Like when he wanted the disguise, he wanted a fake mustache.
But
yeah, he's gonna blend right in, buddy. Fake ass mustache. No, but it was definitely worth a watch. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely worth a watch. Good stuff. I'd give it of all the DC movies so far this last 2 years, I guess. I'd say it's one of the top ones for sure, which isn't saying much for DC, but definitely top one.
I would
Yeah,
say
no,
it's right
it's,
behind the Snyder cut of the
Oh
Justice
yeah,
League for me.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's a good movie. I thought the villain was good, which the villain actually was Amanda Waller, really, in the end, in the U.S. government, because how they were
Oh
trying
yeah, I
to
guess so.
hide
Yeah,
the
trying to hide
truth.
Well,
Starro.
she was pretty much the villain in the first one too. Like they have to assemble the Suicide Squad to kill that witch, but she's in charge of the witch, so it was her fucking fault the whole time.
Yeah, that bitch. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. And then it's funny because when you explain the plot to that movie, I want to see it. That sounds awesome. What? She has the heart in the box. What? And you see it and you're like, oh, I don't know. Not horrible, but it's not good. Like, but this one was fun, man. All the characters were fun. When Tom, the guy from SNL, what's his name, got his face blown off. That was a good part, right? He was actually good in the movie. He was only in it for
Pete
like 10
Davidson?
minutes. Pete Davidson, he was good in it.
He was pretty good. There was that
Um,
other guy with the spear. He was pretty
oh,
good.
Javelin. Yeah.
I thought I don't know his name, but the guy who plays Yondu in the Guardians of the Galaxy
Oh,
movies.
Michael
yeah,
Rooker.
Yeah,
Michael Rooker.
they fooled me because I was like, this guy's gonna be a badass.
That's
He
what
can
I
kill
thought,
things with
too.
the ball. He's gonna be a badass, and then he fucking bitches out. And then
I mean,
the
which
weasel.
character was?
Oh,
Oh, which character was the worst? TDK. TDK with his
What does
floating
TDK
arms.
stand for? It's
It
the letters
was
in my name.
yeah. It's when he just slapped
Every
big guys
name's
in the
got
face,
letters, dickhead.
like freaking the Three Stooges. But
Oh,
according to
yeah,
James
yeah,
Gunn,
yeah.
he survived.
He's still alive. He's
Not dead. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not dead. But Harley Quinn was great in the movie. But she's perfect for that role, Margot Robbie. It's like she was made to play Harley Quinn. Man, I'm telling you, that movie was awesome, man. That movie, I give it a 4 out of 5 for sure. It was just very entertaining. They didn't hold back. You know, being rated R helped that movie for sure. And yeah, man. As for DC movies, you guys are right. Yeah, Zack Snyder cut probably number 1, and number 2, I definitely go with Suicide Squad. The
funny-
Suicide Squad.
The TDK is actually James Gunn made the character up for the movie,
Yeah, he did.
but
Yeah.
there's an actual DC character whose name is Arm Fall Off Boy. Who does exactly that? Removes his arm.
What a stupid
Yeah.
ass character. Just-
Arms
just-
Fall Off Boy. But you couldn't even come up with a good name for him. Like just Arms Fall Off Boy.
And it's not even that. When he took his arms off, he stood there. He could easily be
Yeah,
shot.
he didn't like hide it. He had to see what he was
No.
doing with him.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess.
yeah, he had to
What,
see
what
what
did
he's
TDK
doing.
stand for again? I forget.
The I don't even know. I really couldn't tell you. But what characters died? Pete Davidson, TDK, the Weasel.
TDK 's
TDK
alive.
stands for the detachable kid.
Oh, that's right.
Detachable kid.
We know the Weasel didn't die. Rooker's character died. Javelin dies. The chick that looked like Starfire died.
Oh, Mogul.
Yeah, by jumping on the helicopter.
I forget. Did Polka Dot die?
Polka Dot does die.
He does die.
He's like,
He
look,
was-
Mom, I'm a superhero. And he gets killed.
He was surprisingly funny. Like,
Oh man, you know
they
what?
did a
When he-
really good job on
he
him.
was good, and the fact he kept saying his mom as
That was hilarious.
even Starro was hilarious.
Yeah, I
And-
could relate.
Yeah.
I was right there with him.
What?
I was like, all right, if I had Polka Dots.
Oh man, traumatized. Huh? Holy shit.
Oh.
man.
That's for another
Yeah.
podcast.
Your mom's Starro.
Is
And
it
you know,
Flag?
originally-
Flag died.
Flag. Oh yeah, I know. When Flag died, were you surprised when Rick Flag died?
little
I
bit.
was
I
surprised.
was pretty
too.
surprised. Yeah.
And I knew Cena wasn't dead, Peacemaker, because he has his own TV show that comes after the Suicide Squad, and they already filmed it. It's all wrapped up. But did you know James Gunn originally planned to have Superman as the bad guy? And the idea was that Starro takes over Superman and uses him to fight the Suicide Squad. And he couldn't get Henry Cavill because of his schedule.
Did he have a mustache on? Is that what?
Actually would have worked. It would have worked in this one.
Well, I guess the star would have covered it, right?
Yeah. So he couldn't get him for the movie for scheduling conflicts. So that is why no Henry Cavill. And also that's the reason why Will Smith's not in the movie. because he was actually going to be in the movie too, but scheduling conflict and he could not do it.
Wasn't there
So-
talk of Will Smith being replaced at one point?
Well, that's the word why they brought in Idris Elba to play the role he did, because they couldn't get Will Smith to play Deadshot.
I'm glad they didn't replace Deadshot, but Idris Elba did a really good job.
Oh, he's phenomenal. I
Yeah.
I was also surprised they killed off Captain Boomerang. I was kind
So
of
was I.
surprised
That
by
was the biggest surprise for me at the
Yeah.
beginning. Anyway, it was like, oh, he's
Well,
dead.
he was so insignificant in the first one that I'm
Oh, he's
surprised he
true.
made it
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
second one.
I mean, he's insignificant, period. But I mean, he's a Flash villain. But still, yeah. When he died, though, same as I was like, oh, they killed him, because they kind of used him in the beginning. Like, he has a lot of lines. You're like, yeah, he's one of the guys, the carryover.
Yeah.
But only 2 carryovers, only 1 survived in the end. Good old Harley Quinn. So there you go. We all loved it. Thumbs up from the Nerds Talking podcast for Suicide Squad, now playing on HBO Max, or go to the theaters and watch it if you want. If you don't have HBO Max, I would definitely suggest getting it. So there you go. We'll be right back after this on Nerds Talking, the podcast.
Are you a man of culture and need a podcast that reflects your refined tastes?
Do you think 1 to 4 episodes is the optimal number to tell a complete story?
Who has time to sit down for 300 episodes?
Are you a sucker for romance?
HappyHouseOfHentai.com or search for hentai in your favorite podcast service.
Welcome back to Nerds Talking, the podcast. Here with Johnny and Carlos, and I'm Lafayette. And Carlos recently purchased a blood-infused skateboard. I think that's the you told me during the break.
Tony Hawk blood infused skateboard.
Yeah. These two guys are huge Tony Hawk fans, and Tony Hawk's releasing a skateboard. I think 100 of them, if I'm not mistaken, where he basically had his blood drawn, and then he's going to sign, I think, every skateboard in his own blood, something to that effect, and then sell them. But it's supposed to go to charity or some type of foundation, like the money raised for it. So that's the cause. And then there was outrage by one individual, Little Nas X, saying, I don't get it. It's a double standard. Why is it that I couldn't sell my shoes filled with blood, that Nike shoes? And Nike said, you can't do that to our product. That's not, we're not allowing that. And then it turned into this whole social media thing. And, of course, right away, it turned to a black versus white thing and yada, yada, yada. I mean, first of all, would you buy shoes with blood in it? I guess that's number one. And number two, do you guys trust Tony Hawk anymore? Or is he turned into the dark side? Johnny?
I don't know why I don't trust Tony Hawk anymore.
You don't know why you don't trust him anymore?
Yeah,
Like, you tell me why.
You tell me why I wouldn't. Just because do you think he's selling out, or?
No, I don't see a problem with it, because it's like I said, it's for charity.
Made a deal with the devil.
Yeah, it's for charity. And the problem with Little Nas X thing was that it kind of coincided with his video, that crazy ass video about him basically having sex with the devil.
Mm.
And people were like, those are satanic shoes. And I'm like, no, they're just filled with probably AIDS. I don't know. So, Carlos, give me your take on it.
Well, first off, Tony Hawk donated a vial of blood and they mixed it into the red paint that they used to paint these skateboards.
That's what it was. There you go. There you go.
And it's for liquid death. I think liquid death is.
Yeah, it's a canned water.
Can is that what it is?
Can taste like shit. Yes.
Yeah, and they're only donating 10% of the profit, so it's not like
those
they're doing a
bastards.
big old charity thing for it. But it was all they did. They infused it and they put it in the red paint. So these boards are painted with his blood infused in the,
Oh,
in the,
okay.
paint.
So not a big. Here's the thing, though. Like 2 days after the social media outcry, guess who's hanging out with Tony Hawk in his backyard?
Little
San
Nas
Diego.
X.
Little Nas X, and they're skateboarding together.
Really?
And Tony Hawk like puts a caption, kind of like, I don't see the problem here, and they're both like thumbs up, like, yeah, we're cool. So I think sometimes it's just outrage. It's social media outrage, right? It's just like people on the internet, they want to make things bigger than it is. Is it because they want their own attention? Of course, we all know that everybody wants attention on the internet. So, and it also goes into line, for instance, you guys, of course, have watched the news and all about Afghanistan, right? Everybody's up to date on updated, latest, whatever. This model on Instagram did this whole video. She's outraged with the current administration, and they should all be kicked out. The next post, she's at a Hollywood party having a good time. Next post, she's at a pool party, like, look at my body. Like it's like 20 posts in a row of her in a bikini going, look at me, like me. Then the 21st post, I hate everything in America that stands for this, that, and this. And then next post, I'm drunk at a party, y'all. like I think some people look at that, well, can you have both? Or are you outraged all the time? Are you always a Karen? What are you trying to get at in the end? You know, is this attention? Because I feel like people that have fake outrage just want attention, and they'll use something to grab that attention. You know what I mean? You guys know what that means?
Well, yeah, they want their 15 minutes of fame, and they're hoping that this fake outrage will give them that. That's what I mean, serious fame, not their stupid influencer garbage or whatever it may be. That's what I think it is anyway.
Well, I mean, I guess my question is, do you feel she's not sincere because she didn't keep posting about it? Or she just made one post and she went back to her model life? Like,
I think it's more like anybody that tells me about politics, if I've never seen or heard you ever talk about politics, I can't take you serious. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about especially a person that's in public like that has like 2 million followers and never ever stood for anything, never raised their voice about anything, but all of a sudden they're a big, it doesn't matter the topic. It could be people that are anti-vax or even pro-vaccine, anything current, you know, all of a sudden you want to speak out for one day and then you're going to go right back to, look at my new Benz, everyone. Oh, it's my new Frappuccino. I got it. I used the secret menu at Starbucks. And you never hear a word of it again until for some reason she's interviewed on Hannity, you know, she's all upset again. Like, you know what I mean? I think people use some things to really to build, like Carlos said, not sustain an audience because they have the audience. It's to build an audience even more if they can, and they're going to use some type of outrage that they never knew existed, right? It's like she probably never knew anything about Afghanistan before this weekend. She probably didn't even knew it was still going on. You know what I mean? Like, probably had no clue.
Probably somebody on her team was like, hey, if you make this comment, you'll get more followers from this side, you know, something like that. Just something to gain more, like I said, more followers, more views, more likes, more whatever, just for that little bit. So she's going to say something outrageous that she knows nothing about, but wants to sound upset. And then just like you said, just go back to getting drunk by the pool and whatever.
Yeah. I mean, we could take somewhere like Joe Rogan, for instance, right? You guys probably know all about Joe Rogan. He's
has the COVID.
But he gives out a lot of like crazy information on his podcast. One day he's, oh no, you should maybe get the vaccine. No, don't get the vaccine. You should, no, what? Don't get it. You know what I thought about it? Maybe, no, what? Don't get it. Yeah, get it though, but don't get it. Take horse dewormers. And then he gets COVID, and all of a sudden he's like, I'm taking everything but the vaccine, and everybody's bashing him and and it's like, and don't get me, he's not gonna lose any popularity, Joe Rogan, but it's almost like, how do you take these people at face value? Do you take them? Is Joe Rogan somebody you'd ever listen to about advice, medical advice, or even political advice? You know what I mean? Like, is that something you would like, oh man, Joe Rogan said this, so yeah, I'm on board with that. And this goes for social media people like Jake Paul, Paul Logan, or Paul, whatever they're called. Jake Paul and or
Jake
Logan
Paul,
Logan Paul.
And Logan Paul. And they're the same way too. They're very they have podcasts where they're very political and this and that. And they have a lot of influence to the younger audience, you know?
Yeah, but I don't know. For your example with Joe Rogan, at least, I feel like he's educated enough to say certain things about that. And then he brings in guests that, you know, will be an expert on COVID. And then he'll bring in guests that are as experts on respiratory, you know, so like his opinions are, there's some merit behind it, you know, there's education behind it. So he's never been like, oh, I'm vax one day and I'm anti-vax the next day. I think he said something, at least in the podcast that I've heard, it was like, well, I wouldn't mind taking it, you know, after I see some more positive results and more positive studies. And then he's always been, since COVID is respiratory disease, so like just be in good health and take these things to help your immune system.
Yeah.
So it's never I don't know. I don't know the model that you're talking about. So
Oh no, she's not like famous in that regard, like we think.
uh,
I mean, there's 100 million girls on Instagram that have 2 million followers you never freaking heard of.
right.
And 99% are just dudes that don't really care about them either, just want to see their photos. It's just like I said, it's like I have a platform, so let me speak on something once, and you never heard me talk about this before, so I'm gonna speak on it right now, and then I'll probably never speak on it again. I don't know, I'm the type of person that, like, if you're gonna ask me about politics or whatever, you probably already know my stance on where like you probably heard me talk about it before, so my stance. I'm not just gonna talk about it once and then go back to never talking. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like it's fake outrage. I feel like people are just using it for their benefit.
Well, I don't disagree with you. I do feel like this particular subject about Afghanistan, because I've seen a lot of people post about it, and people that hadn't posted politically before. It's kind of upsetting, especially after spending 20 plus years over there and then pulling out like that. And I could see where people would be upset even if they didn't know about it before, or didn't even know people were still fighting in Afghanistan. So well, I do see people posting just to get up their followers. I mean, I could see where a lot of people would be upset about this.
Yeah, but you're right too. Facebook has brought out people again with their memes and their
Yeah.
I'm American because I don't like the president. Good times. I mean, like I said, you were over there. Before we take a break, what was your take on the whole thing?
Not a fan of how they pulled out. I mean, I feel like they said. Yeah, that's what she said. I think they cost a lot of lives, and
yeah. No, it's crazy. It was nuts. Had a guy tell me the same thing. I just told him, well, I mean, there's no way this wasn't planned. It just didn't go anywhere near what they thought it was gonna be. You know what I mean? Like nothing close to what they thought was gonna happen. They literally thought that was gonna happen a month from now. What happened in a day?
Like, for anyone who's ever been in the military, they know the monotonous shit that you have to do, going to work every day, and then you have to check your Humvee, for example, and you got to make sure everything works and all the tools are inventoried. That shit has to happen every single day. And now you just gave away these vehicles. Like, I've been fucking busting my ass off for this monotonous shit, and then all of a sudden, I don't know. Not a fan of how they handled it, and I'll be interested to see if they can redeem themselves.
Yeah, I don't see how you can redeem yourself from that situation, in the sense of they're all out, they're gone. Like, now what do they do?
Yeah, I mean, and you kind of gave them a lot of shit.
Yeah, you basically gave them whatever you had there for over the last so many years, and
like, don't tell me like I got to
which
raise
was
my taxes
awkward
now.
though. To be honest, it was awkward that they would leave all the stuff behind.
Yeah.
Again, before we take, because we don't harp on this so much, but I look at that as, Joe Biden asked, hey, what should we do here? And a bunch of generals and said, let's do this. Okay. It's not like he just said, hey, let's just leave everything behind. Somebody had to come up with a plan and said, let's do it like this. It'll be fast. We get out of the in and out. And didn't quite work out. Shit did not work out. So
I feel like there were things done to make Biden look bad. I'm sure if I'm a Trump supporting general, I'd be like, well, he said, no later than this day.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And then I told a buddy of mine, you do understand the generals that are there now are the same generals that have probably been there for like 15, 20 years.
Right. They didn't come in 13 years ago. Or whatever.
Yeah. They've been there since Bush, Clinton, Obama, so Trump, and still the same guys.
Yeah.
So when he goes, hey, I want to get out of here by this date. Okay. Yeah. But we're gonna plan it the day before. Excuse me. You don't mind, right? And we're gonna send one plane on the first day. Excuse me, just one. We got it all figured out.
That's cool. I'm a general. I'm a general. Look at my stars. Get a castle.
So yeah, it's good times. All right, we'll take a break here at Nerds Talking the Podcast. We'll be right back after this.
Yo, this is Caviar Gold.
And it's your boy Jack Jills. And we just want to know, why haven't you downloaded and subscribed to Hood Connoisseur Podcast? Hot takes about the most current events, all the way to an interview with the felon, nothing but jewels and great conversation. From everything to Lil Nas X and the story of the Golden State Killer.
Oh yeah, shout out to the nerds. We got something for you too. The Geeked Up Podcast. Listen to us break down critically acclaimed films like Damien Chazelle's Whiplash or hood classics like Set It Off. Just subscribe to the Hood Connoisseur Podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Welcome back to Nerds Talking the Podcast. And we're with Carlos, Johnny, and I'm Lafayette. Remember to rate, subscribe, review, turn on notifications, downloads, and website coming soon, nerdstalkingthepodcast.com. And today is NBA 2K22 Friday. The game comes out today. So if you have yourself a Xbox or PlayStation 5, get yourself some NBA 2K22. Johnny, you still play NBA 2K?
Yeah, I'm playing 2K20, so I'm a couple years behind.
Wait, you playing NBA 2K20?
Yeah, I don't
Wow.
buy it every year. I'll buy once, even with like MLB The Show.
Well, the show I
start-
understand.
I'll start a season. I'll make
Yeah.
the character. Obviously, it's Johnny Lee. He's like 6'5",
What position?
jacked for MLB.
Yeah.
Yeah, pitcher and
Yeah, what do you,
hitter?
What do you? Ooh, oh,
No.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah, you better.
I see what
Google
you're trying to do. I see what you're trying to do.
Ah,
No,
so hey,
I'll switch up positions because the only thing that's important is his 785 batting average.
Jesus.
Yeah.
wait,
There's a thing where you
that
can
guy's
like
great.
you can set it up for where they only pitch strikes.
Oh no, that's what I do. That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
They can only
so-
throw it in the strike zone.
Yeah. So
Wait, you batted 785 through a whole season?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
awesome.
I'm not gonna lie, that's impressive.
Thank
Even
you.
though they only throw strikes. I get it, but that's impressive, man.
With NBA
Wow.
2K, when I obviously make my own character, you still have to play the game. You still have to. I mean, even if you set it on easy mode, you still got to run out the clock and all that stuff. So it's a little bit more work, but still a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, NBA 2K22 comes out today. Get that. That's the game I play the most because your Xbox tells you, like, you get an email at the end of every year and it says with the game you played the most, how many hours, and it's always NBA 2K for me.
My God, that's got to be depressing, right? When
No,
it
no.
shows that final number. Like, I didn't know there's that many hours in a year. But
Yeah, no, it's true. But man, I think NBA 2K has led my Xbox yearly output for at least the last I would say 8 years. NBA 2K is what I play the most for sure. I love playing NBA 2K, and I never play it. It's just I'm a general manager, making moves, making trades, getting draft picks, and never making the playoffs because we live in Sacramento.
So you're not even playing?
I only play if I make the playoffs. But here's the thing:
That's right,
you
because you can't simulate the playoffs, can you?
You can, yeah. But you say you don't get it every year. But
Right.
see, if you had a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, like Carlos and myself, you would get it because the graphics are amazing, like super freaking real. It's ridiculous. Like, are you guys gonna get the new Call of Duty coming out?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Carlos, you playing Call of Duty still?
No, I'm not a first-person shooter guy anymore.
Okay. Are you guys gonna get? Johnny won't get this game because he doesn't have an Xbox. I was gonna say Halo Infinite, but Carlos gets it for free, so he'll definitely have it.
I'm hoping a new division comes out.
They are working on that. Yeah. Johnny, you play Madden football, which has
No,
already been
not-
released.
Not for a while.
Okay.
Not for a while. It's just baseball and basketball.
How about FIFA Soccer, Carlos's favorite game?
No, I never got into that.
Carlos, will you be
Mhm.
buying FIFA Soccer 22?
No, I'll just wait for it to come out on the Game Pass.
Okay, well, quick insight on soccer games this year. There are 2 additional soccer games coming out this year that are free.
Oh, really?
You don't pay for them. So Konami, which is the maker of
Oh.
Pro Evolution Soccer, will no
Yep.
longer make you pay for that game. It is free.
Wow.
Now, if you
Why?
want to play the Ultimate Team, you pay for that. If you just want to play the standard game, it's
Oh.
free, which that's fine by me. And there's another game coming out called the UFL, which already has all the licenses for all the teams and the leagues, and it also will be free coming this October. Another soccer game, completely free. You don't pay for anything. The idea is to create a model, and this will be benefit somebody like Johnny, that if you buy a game like NBA 2K22 in the future, you're only paying for the updates. I want the new rosters. I want the new whatever you're gonna, and I'm paying say $30. I don't necessarily need the whole game. I already have that game.
That's smart.
You know?
I
But-
could see that. I mean,
Yeah.
if they don't need to reinvent the wheel, they just adding to it.
Yeah, and the thing is, they'll always say this to you. No, but this year we changed. We added 5 new game upgrades. Like, oh, the defense is better. We set more screens now. Like I'm gonna pay that money for more screens. All right, more post-up plays. And that's what they'll tell you. Oh, we added 56 significant new dribbles. But you'll never notice when you play.
NBA, the version I'm playing, when you hit play game or whatever, and then they have the intermission, they'll say, all right, coming out on the new NBA 2K, and then they list all these features like while you're playing the old one.
They'll give you like commercial.
I don't know, it kind of makes me feel like shit about that.
You know what? Here's another thing too that you're
Put in
missing
some
out on.
OT.
And Carlos knows about this. If you have the new systems, there are no more load times. There's no breaks in between that. Once you push play, go straight to tip off. Yep. Oh, another cat. You're gonna love this about NBA 2K22. It's a whole segment of NBA 2K22. Like I'm hawking it here. They have the actual PA announcers for every team, the real PA announcers, which is pretty cool. So the Lakers guy, when he's like Kobe for 3, like it's the real guy. He does the whole game, everything.
Interesting.
And unlike NBA 2K20, another one that's going to stab Johnny in the heart, this one has 3 announced teams. It's never the same announced teams. Every time you play the game, it'll be different teams. So Chris Webber with this guy and that guy, or Kenny Smith with this guy and that guy, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, but if you're playing GM, you're not going to hear any of that shit.
But I play the game.
Hmm.
Yeah, but yeah. So I think I always thought that was a great idea for sports games. If you got the real announcers, even the TV guys to do their own games, wouldn't that be cool? That'd be
Definitely for baseball.
Baseball would be fun.
Because we don't get Laker games up here.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be as cool for me.
Yeah. I think that's why they don't do it, because you don't know who those guys are.
Right.
But I think every baseball game should be just Jim Brockmeyer just doing the games, but he has to be drunk. Yeah, if you've seen that show, Have you seen that show, Brockmeyer?
Once or
Carlos
twice,
knows it. Yeah. But anyway, so new video game today. The big release is NBA 2K22 on all PS4, Xbox One, Xbox One X, Series X, what do you want to call it, and PS5. Get those. We'll be right back after this on Nerds Talking, the podcast.
Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Naruto, all things that we love, all manga that were originally published in the legendary magazine Weekly Shonen Jump.
But not every series can run for 300 chapters and have a hit anime. This is David.
This is Jordan.
We're the hosts of Shonen Flop. Each episode, we look at manga that ran in Jump that didn't quite make it.
We discuss what it did wrong, what it did right, how the series could have turned itself around, and ultimately, was it a flop or not?
We're on all your favorite podcast apps, and you can find us at shonenflop.com.
Keep on flopping, floppers.
Welcome back to nerdstalking.com. Look at that. They just let the website going. Nerds Talking, the podcast. I'm here with Hugh and Marie. No, I'm not. I'm here with Carlos and Gianni. And Carlos talked about commercials in space. What that does that even work? Like a billboard in space?
Yeah, rumor has it that Elon Musk is working with a company to launch billboards in space. So you can see these damn things from Earth. They're gonna be pretty big. I know someone tried to do this years ago and it got shot down because nobody wants to look up into space and see a damn Nike symbol, covering the stars of the moon or something. I don't know. That's just becomes more space garbage. But that's what I've heard. Elon is trying to get advertising in space.
Wouldn't that be weird though at night? Just like, what if there was so many of them? It's like we're turning into Blade Runner,
right?
I think that'd be horrible. Like, do they only run a certain time of day? All that light in the sky. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't want to look up in the sky a big ass Panda Express telling me to get some orange chicken. Like, I'm not gonna say no.
You don't think so?
No, I'm not gonna say no.
While you're eating your orange chicken, you'll be like, you motherfuckers.
And does it work like a cell phone? Sometimes like you'll like, oh man, I'm gonna look up the Reebok website, and then just all the ads get served to you nonstop. It's like that. I don't know. It's odd. That's a weird. I think Elon Musk says a lot of things that never happen. You know, like his Android, he just said he's going to release the Android. You guys saw that too, right? He's coming out with an
that
Android
goofy thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's odd. And then how about ads in video games? How do you guys feel about that? The rumor is that they're going to start putting ads in your games. So if you're playing like Madden football, and we're going to go to the end of the first quarter. Here's a word from Toyota, and an actual real ad plays in your game for like the new Camry or some shit. Like, is that something you're for, or you're like, come on, really?
I
Like,
think I'd stop playing that game.
That's what I mean. Like, I didn't buy the video game for this.
Yeah, I'm not paying for the advertisement.
If you can't turn it off, then yeah, there's no way I'm gonna.
And do you think the game should be cheaper if that's or even free if that's the case? Because they're making money off advertising.
Well, I guess if they're giving it to you for free, I'd probably play it because I feel like, yeah, they're paying for it through advertising. But
that's a good point.
If I'm paying for it, don't put ads in it.
I throw all my morals out the window when you give me shit for free.
It's everything, huh? Wow. I think it's interesting that they want to do that. We got to keep finding a source of revenue, but it's like the customer is your revenue. I just paid you $70 for this damn game. You're gonna throw an ad on it, like that would annoy the shit out of me. But that's where we're going because everything.
But would it annoy you if that shit was free?
No, it wouldn't, because I think that would make sense. If it was free, I see where they're making their ad revenue or how they're making revenue. I mean, it's fine in that regard. But if I paid for the product, don't give me any commercials. They should maybe make that an option for people, and people will buy the game commercial free, almost like Hulu, right? It's like the Hulu of video games,
right?
Yeah.
Now, would you guys pay? Do you guys play games on your phone? Do you guys play app games?
Yeah, not so much anymore, but yeah, I do here and there.
Now, there's a bunch of free ones with those in-app purchases. Do you make any of those purchases? I mean, do you feel like it's cool if I spend like maybe $10, $20 if the game was free, or if it was like a video game on my console, it'd be like $70. Would you ever buy the in-app purchases?
You mean
I've done it before
for the game itself? You mean
for the game itself?
Oh,
yeah.
Like you mean based on the ad they served you? Okay,
yeah, I want to upgrade my guy, so I need all these diamonds, but I need to buy the diamonds for like there's like $20 diamond package or up to $100 package.
Yeah, and it depends on the time of the week too. If it's before payday, I ain't buying shit. But after payday, maybe if there's a couple extra zeros in my bank account, hell yeah, I'm gonna get extra lives on Candy Crush. Fuck it.
No, you're not wrong. I do that. I have a baseball game that I buy like $5 packs to get the better players on my team.
Yeah,
I didn't pay for the game. I'm like, and I'll like spend $5 a month. Oh yeah. I got a good player once. All right. But I do the same shit when I buy FIFA soccer. I do the same shit when I buy NBA 2K. I gotta get those, NBA currency dollars so I can build my guy up, and I'll spend money on a game I already spent money on. But as for, I thought you were talking about, do I ever click an ad during a mobile game to go to that ad to see, whatever they're trying to sell me on? And that's
I'm talking about in-app purchases. I mean,
in-app purchases. I have.
In my game that I play, you can watch ads and they'll give you free stuff for watching it.
What game?
Yeah.
I play a Home Run Clash.
Yes,
basically it's Home Run Derby.
One.
Yeah, I used to play that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I watch the ad just to get free stuff, but I'm not going to buy anything from the ad. I'm not buying anything from the game. But because I remember one time somebody was bragging to me that they spent $2,000 on what's that? Clash of Clans or something like that. Did really you spent $2,000? What are you, stupid? And he goes, oh yeah, my buddy spent $1,000. I'm like, you guys are both stupid.
Wait a second, Dennis told you that?
Nah, it wasn't Dennis. But I'm like, wow, you're bragging about this. You're one stupid individual.
That is one game I actually played a lot, but never spent $1. It's addicting, but never.
Which one, Clash of Clans?
Yeah. Never spent $1 on that game. But I've
seen funny YouTube clips where some dude was spending money on Candy Crush, but it wasn't like his account, so he spent like his sister's money or some shit, and he fucking goes nuts. But yeah, I mean, if it's other people's money, I've seen that happen.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Well, that goes back to the Fortnite stuff. Some kid spent he maxed out his parents' credit cards.
Oh yeah,
Fortnite skins. I'm like,
I I mean, it's different than now than when we grew up. But if I maxed out my mom's credit card when we were kids, you just say your goodbyes. You would never.
We wouldn't be
fucking
talking right now.
We would not be talking right now.
Oh yeah.
You would bring me up in memory. Remember that dude that used to live down the street?
His form of being on the podcast would be like letters we'd get. We'd read them.
Yeah.
Johnny wants to talk about this week.
This is this week's podcast.
Yeah, but this
dedicated
is
to
all
the
from
memory.
3 weeks ago. All this information.
Yeah, you can't murder your kids now. I mean, you couldn't really back then, but I guarantee you, I would not have lived to see the next day.
You think Bobby would be here instead of Johnny if that happened? On the
Oh
podcast?
man.
It depends on if he saw it or not. Like,
Yeah.
when the other child is getting beat, or the other sibling is getting beat, you don't really go in the room. You just want to be away from it. So if he didn't witness it, yeah,
You want to be
he'd
as far as possible. That's very
for
true.
sure.
Yes.
I can imagine him just sitting in the corner eating, just watching like entertainment, like dinner theater.
You know what? I could actually see him throwing out like some suggestions as it happened.
I don't see either one of those things, but what I would see in my head is him going to the TV and turning it up because my getting my ass kicked is too loud.
It's too loud for him.
Interfering with the show, man.
That's actually true. That's actually like he would tell you to turn it down.
Yeah. My fingers are broke.
Yeah. It's video games ads. They get annoying, but like Carlos said, if you can get free shit out of it, watch this ad. We'll give you free this. I'm watching a fucking ad that for another game I'll never download. That's what happens. But all right, well, video games and ads and your console systems may be coming soon. We do get ads already if you have Xbox Live and PlayStation. What's their service called? Their online service, PlayStation. Bedazzled, right?
Johnny question. You got a PlayStation, Johnny? What do you got?
PlayStation.
Yeah, but I don't know. They have this other like PlayStation Network.
No, they do. I think that's what it is. A PlayStation Network.
Yeah, but
anyway.
I don't. I mean, I'm logged in, but I don't pay for shit, so I can't.
It's
I don't
free,
think I'm
yeah.
allowed to play shit online.
No, but like for instance, like on Xbox, you get ads on the dashboard of your console. For like might be a movie ad, might be an ad for Netflix,
right.
Might be
You
an
don't
ad,
have to watch it. It's just a little.
No, but
nothing.
PlayStation has that too.
Oh, they do. Okay,
Yeah.
so there you go. Another streaming revenue, like way of making money for those companies. There you go. All right, we'll take a break here on Nerds Talking the Podcast. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, I'm Tyler.
I'm Peyton.
And I'm Jarrett.
And we're the hosts of Bombs Away, a bad movie comedy podcast.
Every other week, we rip into the worst of the worst that Hollywood has to offer.
Be it B movies, blockbuster flops, or movies that are better kept in that nostalgic part of your brain. We rip them all.
Or sometimes we'll walk away with a newfound love of an ill-perceived classic.
Like Death Stalker.
Or Showgirls.
Or Thanksgiving.
No.
With over 200 episodes, there's no bad place to start.
For what it's worth, I'd go with Season 2, Episode 6, Death Stalker.
My personal pick is the drink-along episode, number 21, Slumber Party Massacre.
Come on, guys. All of our episodes are created equal.
Aww.
But I'd choose Episode 120, Hard Ticket to Hawaii, live from the Frida Cinema.
And to think, with all that trash Hollywood cranks out every year, it's almost like the show will go on forever.
And ever, and ever, and ever, and ever.
So why not jump in now? That's Bombs Away, the bad movie comedy podcast, found on all podcasting platforms and YouTube.
As well as Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Bombs Away Show.
We watch them, so you really don't have to.
Welcome back to Nerds Talking the Podcast. We're with Carlos and Johnny. I'm Lafayette. And Netflix just acquired a very big $500 million acquisition, a show. And it starts in October. And they acquired it 2 years ago. And they finally bring it to Netflix. Will you watch it? It's called Seinfeld.
No kidding.
Dun, dun. They will have all Seinfeld exclusively to Netflix for $500 million.
Wow.
Yep. I'd never seen the first season of Seinfeld, so I'm more interested in watching that. I picked it up the second season when they kind of changed the show.
Wait, so can you see it now, like on Peacock and stuff?
I think right now it's on Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on Hulu until October 1st. So I mean, I can watch the first season today if I wanted to on Hulu.
Yeah.
But yeah, they paid $500 million for that show. Think about that shit. Think about how much money that those people are getting that get, I don't know if the actors outside of Jerry get anything.
I think
I'm
it was
not
Larry
sure.
David and Jerry.
No, that's what I mean, because think about when they did the contracts and you get paid for syndication and you get paid, they didn't have streaming back then. So streaming doesn't really fall into syndication, Would you share that if you own that show? Because Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld own that show. Would you like cut a little bit to the actors that were part of the show if you were?
Oh, for sure.
I would, but I don't think
Like
they
how
didn't
much
cut,
money do they need?
but they
Yeah,
didn't
exactly.
cut anything for the syndication. They didn't give them anything. They kept out themselves.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. They kept it all
Oh,
themselves.
yeah. See, if it was me, I would definitely cut them each like $10 million because they made the show.
Right.
And you don't want to, have that legacy afterwards, like, oh, fucking Seinfeld making all this money and like everyone else is all going bankrupt type of thing.
Nothing, right? I mean, two of them are doing well. One's doing really well. Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah.
She does a lot of shit. The guy that played George, damn it, what's Alexander? Jason Alexander. He still does quite a bit of stuff. Of course, we know the other
Kramer,
fella.
yeah,
He messed up
he
his
might, he
career.
might need the money right now.
Yeah,
I think so.
his stand-up act didn't go so well that night. So yeah, I know it went pretty bad. But yeah, so $500 million for that. That's just crazy how popular that show is still, that they still get $500 million for it. It's like Friends. I think HBO paid $1 billion to have Friends.
So it's not on Netflix anymore?
No, it's
been
on,
gone for a while.
HBO Max.
Remember when they had threatened to like take it off, and then people like were like, I'm gonna cancel my Netflix, and he's all right,
Yeah,
we'll pay.
What's crazy is like The Office, when it was on Netflix, even though you wouldn't see it ranked in the top 10, it was still their number one show every year. They had it. The most watched show they had was The Office.
Yeah.
And when they lost that, I was like, oh, that sucks. Like, but also I didn't, I watched the full thing once and then didn't go back and watch it again. Like, did you guys, did you kind of like syndication, right? You don't just pick up, I'm gonna just watch season 3, episode 7. Like, just pick the random ass episode to watch, it doesn't, I don't know.
For The Office in particular, I'm in a little bit of a different situation because a couple of the actors on there started their own podcast.
Mhm.
So like talking about the history and stuff like that. And I don't think I've ever seen it all the way through. So now I'm doing simultaneous, like I'm watching the show and listening to the podcast. It's awesome, man. It's got a lot of heart.
Oh no, I love
so many
the
like
show.
cool stories.
Yeah.
To go along with it.
Oh, to go with it, yeah.
Yeah. So I think The Office is taking over Scrubs as my new favorite show.
Ah,
goddamn Scrubs.
Yeah. Scrubs, I really enjoyed it when it was on, but I never really watched it again.
Well, they lost a lot of people. Like they had switched networks, and then I remember just like tuning in on a Thursday. Like, it's just not here anymore. All right, like how are you gonna find shit back then?
Didn't they go to
like
CW?
ABC or something
Or was
like
it
that?
ABC or something?
Maybe for the final season. It was like
That's right.
It was very disloyal to the fans.
It's like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It went from Fox to ABC or NBC. Went from Fox to NBC.
Yeah.
For Brooklyn Nine. But here's the thing about The Office. The reason I can't watch it like Seinfeld. If Seinfeld comes on TBS, which is always on TBS, I can just watch any episode. It doesn't have to be in order. But see, The Office does have an order. One episode does relate to the next. Well, one storyline. It's really just Pam and Jim.
Right.
Really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Other storylines don't really do that. So that's why I can't just watch The Office necessarily anytime, like say on a streaming service. If it's on Comedy Central, because it's on Comedy Central, it seems like every day for 20 hours.
Right.
I'll watch it. Oh, I remember this episode is funny. But when it's a streaming service, you don't do that. You don't just randomly pick an episode. You watch it, you binge it. That's why when Seinfeld comes on, I'll probably binge it and go, oh yeah, this is so, even though I've seen them all, except for season 1 for some reason, it's a fantastic show. So $500 million worth of entertainment. Still crazy they pay that much money though. But what do you guys think about Netflix movies before we cut out? Like, or streaming movies in general? Do you find them to be any good?
I think it's hit and miss. And I don't know why that is. Like the first one I remember seeing was Bright, that Will Smith movie about elves and shit.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, which is very hyped up.
I liked it, but it had a different feel. Like I don't know how I would feel if I saw it in the theaters, and I don't know if streaming makes a difference, but it just had a different feel for sure.
Was the feel like it was cheap? Because that's how I felt watching it. Like this seems a little cheap. Like it's like we try to make a big budget movie, we just didn't have enough. We're gonna try our best what we got. Like, you know, and that's how I feel about a lot of movies on streaming. I feel like,
no disrespect to him, because I love Will Smith, but I feel like his salary eats up a lot of the budget. Like when I see a bad CGI thing, I'm like, well, that's because Will is not cheap.
Yeah.
Like Gemini Man, there was a lot of bad parts.
Oh my god, yeah, Gemini Man was a streaming type movie.
Yeah,
it was not. But it's crazy because you'll watch a movie like Wahlberg. He put a movie out on Netflix, Spencer Confidential.
Oh.
And it seemed like he filmed it in 3 days. Like it didn't. It just seemed so cheap. Like, we get this Netflix signed me for a movie. Let's just get it done. Then he put a movie out on Paramount called Infinite, and it's felt the same way.
Those movies to me feel like when they used to be on TV, like you'll catch a special movie on a weekend, made for TV. Made for TV movie. That's what they feel like. They don't feel like theatrical movies,
No, and that's how I feel like okay. So you saw Sweet Girl. Carlos saw Sweet Girl with Jason Momoa, it felt the same way. That movie was made for streaming. It didn't feel like a theatrical movie at all.
For me, that one felt like it was theatrical. Maybe it's because we're watching them at home that you get more that feel of like, I can pause it and stop it whenever I want, or because Sweet Girl was pretty good. That didn't feel as low budget as some of the other stuff that I've seen.
I don't know. That's my thing about movies, that they go, "Oh, this guy signed on for this huge role for the streaming thing," and you're like, "Oh." I always feel like that when they announce that, like, "Oh, it's not."
Maybe it's because we don't take that as serious movies, though. We're so used to, if it comes out in the theater, it's got to be good. Hollywood spends so much money on this, but when it comes out on streaming, you're like, yeah, it's not the same budget.
I mean, a good example
is
Army of the Dead. They didn't spare expense on that movie. That was a big budget, like theater movie.
Felt like a theater.
And when you watched it, you can tell this shit was made for theaters. Like, even though it was a Netflix exclusive, this was a big budget thing.
Do you think that because it's on streaming services, they don't have to worry so much about editing? Like with a theater, like you got to cut it down to 90 minutes and that's it. But with streaming, you can make a 2-hour movie and.
Could be. And you're right, though. And also and vice versa. Sometimes the streaming movies are super short. This movie's only 120 minutes. Like,
right.
That's not a long movie, I do feel like, because Netflix, they pay for all these movies, meaning they budget them all out when they're Netflix exclusives. I think they just go like, okay, listen, we got this guy for the movie, but you have $40 million to make it. Like, that's all you get. But you have to pay all the actors, of course, out of that $40 million. Like you said, Will Smith comes along. Well, I want 15 of that. Like, fuck, that eats up. And then all the other actors get $5 million combined, and there goes half your budget.
Yeah.
And how do you make a movie about elves and fairies and orc cops and shit with $20 million? In the ghetto, yeah. Like, how do you make basically Training Day with orcs? And that's how I feel with most of those movies. It's like they signed Mark Wahlberg to a movie. Oh, we got Mark Wahlberg. Netflix is like, perfect. How much is the movie going to cost? Oh, I don't know, 20 million. Let's say 17.5. Do your best. Netflix is the canon films streaming.
It's the Wild West of films.
Oh man, I don't know. I think Amazon.
It's not all bad, but I feel like I'm not as upset. Like if I go to a theater and I watch a shit movie, I'm like, fuck, I paid money for this. I took time out. If if I watch something bad on Netflix, I don't feel as bad. Disappointed maybe, but like Spencer Confidential. Like if I would have saw that in theaters, I would have been pissed.
You didn't like it? I liked it.
Little
I said, it felt like a TV movie. It didn't feel like that.
Yeah, no, my thing about that movie, it just felt cheap. That's all it really was. That's about it. It didn't feel at all like Johnny said. That wasn't a theatrical release. It was meant to be on a streaming, I think out of all the streaming services, Hulu, I think HBO Max puts out the best quality because their movies are made for theaters. Like they make those movies for theaters. They're not the best movies, but they're made for theaters. But I think Amazon puts the most money into what they put out because they don't put a lot of content out. So I think they put the most like quality content out. That's just like The Witcher. You guys watch The Witcher on Netflix?
Yeah.
TV show? It felt very cheap. Did not feel expensive at all. Only had like one real CGI moment. It was the very first scene of the movie when he's fighting something in the water or whatever it is, or in the jungle, I don't know, whatever the hell it is. There's one moment that's really big, and I feel like that's what the money went to, that one moment. And everything else just felt super cheap. And I was like, this feels cheap. Like they finished filming Game of Thrones and like, you guys are done with this leftovers? Can we start filming something? Like, that's what it felt like, and
that's a nice jacket. We cool.
And that's I kind of feel like people like they come out and do that. There's a show on Netflix recently that wanted to be another Game of Thrones. After one season, they canceled it, and it felt cheap. I forgot the name of it, man. It's the bad guy was the bad guy from The Punisher.
John Travolta?
No, in the Punisher TV show.
On Netflix.
Okay. And it wasn't a horrible show. It just wasn't that good either. And you can tell Netflix is like, no, we're good. We're good here. Again, another wannabe Game of Thrones with all these different people fighting to be the king of the land. And it just didn't work.
Did you guys ever get into Quibi?
No.
Never heard of it.
But they sold all the content to Roku.
Yeah, it was a weird concept. It was like watching a movie, but in 20-minute increments. And Kevin Hart put out a movie.
Yes.
Kiefer Sutherland did The Fugitive. And I think those are the only two I saw on there. And then they went out of business. Or they sold it.
They sold. No, they went out of business. They lost like $10 billion, some crazy number. And because no one subscribed to it. And they sold all their content to Roku. For like 20% of the cost. So if you want to watch the Kevin Hart show, just download the Roku app, which is free to watch their content. It's all free. You don't pay $1 for it.
Yeah, it was I don't know. Did you guys see that?
I didn't. That was with John Travolta.
Yeah,
and it's called Die Hard. Right?
Yes.
Was it good?
If it's gonna be a movie, then make it a movie. If it's gonna be a TV show, make it a TV show. Because every episode had to end somehow. Like, so there's a peak and a downfall, and I don't think you can do that many like ups and downs in a movie. So,
yeah,
it was okay. It had potential as a movie, but not as.
Well, want to hear some good news?
Yeah,
season 2 coming to Roku.
Season 2 of what? Die Hard.
That Die Hard. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
you want to see the remake of The Fugitive, which is also on Quibi? It's on Roku. So
is on Roku channel or what app?
Roku channel. Roku channel. So just download the free Roku channel, and they bought all the content because they want to also be a streaming service, but they don't. But their plan is to never charge you for it. So there you go.
I think the worst of the streaming is Amazon. It's probably the last one I'd subscribe to.
Well, I mean, you get it with Amazon Prime, and
right, it's free.
Everyone has Prime, so
well, that's what I'm saying about Amazon. They put out good quality, but they don't put out enough content. That's the problem with Amazon.
No, I would agree. Like Jack Ryan, I thought was really good.
Yeah. No, The Boys.
The Boys. I haven't seen it, but I heard good things about Miss Maisel, the marvelous Miss Maisel.
That's a good one. They put out
Oh, it's
Invincible, the
bad.
cartoon. That's a good one. They put out Dirtbag, another good show.
But yeah, it's not as often as a
Yeah.
Netflix or something like that. So.
Yeah. To me, they're putting. Oh my god, I think they're putting $1 billion into the TV show for Lord of the Rings. Think about that.
Ooh,
And they're almost
Netflix?
done filming. No, Amazon.
Oh.
They're almost done filming it, but $1 billion to film that show. That's how much they put into it. That's just crazy. But it's Amazon, right? $1 billion. They made that yesterday. Like they're okay. They're just fine. They're just fine. So yeah. But yeah, there you go. Watch Seinfeld. Streaming movies aren't the greatest. And this comes from Patty Jenkins, the creator of director of Wonder Woman 1 and 2. She came out recently and said that streaming movies are crap. And if you make a movie just for streaming purposes, then you're making a crappy movie. That's what she said. So, and she knows that because she made a streaming movie and it was a piece of shit. It's called Wonder Woman 2.
Yeah. But that was just because of COVID. If that shit hit the theaters, I mean, she would have made money, but it's not good.
You're right. No, you're right. If there was no COVID, it would have made money, but people would have watched it once, not returned twice for it. Because that makes a good movie when people watch it twice. So I mean that's why Avatar's the king of movies, right?
Even if I had the movie pass, still, I wouldn't watch Wonder Woman twice.
Oh, we won't watch it once.
That's that. I still have my card too. I'm gonna frame that.
I heard
shit.
that might come back.
There's no fucking.
Yeah, no, I heard it might because the way theaters are right now, they're dead. They might bring Movie Pass back.
Regal's doing a subscription.
Yeah, Regal.
Endless movies per month.
I think,
$24 a month.
Cinemark or
Cinemark
one of the
as
Bay
well,
Area
yeah.
ones.
The problem was they made it too cheap.
Yeah, and then they made it unlimited for
Mhm.
people like me. It was like it was a mistake.
Yeah, that was the problem. Mhm.
But
How
then
much do
they
you think
started
it
having
should?
rules. And
How much
shit.
should it cost if you were in charge of rebooting it? How much would it cost? Do you think?
So after I was done with Movie Pass, I went to the Regal Pass, and it's $20 a month, and I think you could pay more for like unlimited or whatever. That would include 3D, but since I don't watch 3D, $20 was good for me. So $20, I was good with that. When I bought it, the Movie Pass initially, I got it from Costco, so it was like $80 for the whole year, and then they went out of business soon after that.
Yeah, $80 for a whole year is nuts.
It is nuts.
Yeah. That's a service that it should be no less than $24.99 a month or $25 a month.
Yeah, because it's something where you can, if you go twice, you got your money's worth basically.
Mhm. Yeah,
So if you
exactly.
go more than it's like the gym.
But didn't they have a rule where you couldn't go during premieres?
The Movie Pass one did eventually. At first, it was unlimited. You could do whatever you wanted with Movie Pass, but then, like, I think it was Mission Impossible. Everyone showed up to the theater. They're like, "Yeah, your card doesn't work," and that's when they started having restrictions. And then,
okay,
the CEO would come out. I'm sorry, we're just having a bad week. It's good. Come back next week.
Yeah, they
servers
just,
are down. Server.
Oh man, I mean, think about it. You paid what, basically $7 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just kicked themselves right in the nuts.
Oh yeah, I am 100% part of the reason why they're out of business.
Well, yeah, you are the reason, actually.
Yeah.
Just you.
Just
thanks,
me.
Thanks, Shang-Chi. Fuck. How many times you have to see that shit? We get it. You want it to be the next Black Panther. Calm down.
It will be.
So.
Just wait. I got high hopes. I hope he has a cool like handshake or something like that.
You just hope there's a Wakanda type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw that movie in the theaters, people came out dancing, like doing like African dances. People that like watched it.
Were you at? Damn.
No, just say it.
I was gonna say, were you at one of Magic Johnson's theaters?
Yeah, that's horrible. That's so bad. You're bad.
Yeah,
you're bad. No, I don't know what do you think they'll do after Shang-Chi?
Nothing. Asians are quiet unless you're like hurting them, and then they'll be like, "Hey, stop Asian hate," and then that's about it. But like, they're not gonna get together and have a party and like there wasn't a Crazy Rich Asians like festival or some shit. It's just gonna be a cool movie. I heard good things about it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. No, it looks cool. Hopefully it's good. I heard it's now from the reviews I've read. I've heard it's just Black Panther with now it's just an Asian guy.
I'll take it.
Yeah. You know, so where he learns his abilities, gets beat once, comes back again, and he's successful the second time.
Tell us all about it.
Spoiler alert.
All about Rocky, baby. That's just the Rocky formula right there. All right, thanks for joining us here on Nerds Talking the Podcast. Remember to rate, subscribe, download, review, turn on notifications. Website is coming, I promise you. NBA 2K22 came out today. God damn it, go play some basketball on your consoles. And for Carlos.
Bye-bye.
And for Johnny.
See ya.
We'll see you guys next time here on Nerds Talking the Podcast.
Once upon a time.
Boring.
It was the best of times. It was the worst.
You got that right.
What's your problem?
We want new stories.
Hi, it's Frankie.
And Garrett. And we host the Ever Trending Story, a weekly podcast where we bring to life a fictional story created by our own minds and some of the hottest, craziest trends from the internet.
Find us wherever you download podcasts and be sure to join the fun on social media at Ever Trending Pod.